He Never Expected Much by Thomas Hardy, 1840 to 1928. Well, world, you have kept faith with me, kept faith with me. Upon the whole, you have proved to be much as you said you were. Since, as a child, I used to lie upon the leaze and watch the sky, never, I own, expected I that life would all be fair. 'Twas then you said, and since have said, times since have said, in that mysterious voice you shed from clouds and hills around, many have loved me desperately, many with smooth serenity, while some have shown contempt of me till they dropped underground. I do not promise overmuch, child, overmuch. Just neutral-tinted haps and such, you said to minds like mine. Wise warnings for your credit's sake, which I for one failed not to take, and hence could stem such strain and ache as each year might assign. Okay, this is a poem by Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy is best known for his novels. Let's see, he was born and brought up in Dorset, and he went to London to study architecture. He went to King's College London and became an architect, and he worked for many years as an architect, but he's most famous as an author. Tess of the D'Urbervilles, for example. Okay, so what's this about? Well, I think this is about the fact that life is not fair. You can't expect life to be fair. You can't expect that life is going to be just one long thing, one long session of joy and happiness. Life's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be happy. Yes, there are going to be a few happy times, but generally life is has great periods of monotony, and it's not fair all the time. And in this poem he talks about how this is something that he realized from an early age, and therefore it made the difficult times in his life easier to endure, because he understood that these were clearly part of life. So, well, world, you have kept faith with me, kept faith with me. So here, the poet or the speaker is talking to the world, and this is effectively an apostrophe. An apostrophe is where you talk, or a poem that talks to somebody who's not present. Well, is the world present? Maybe it's always present. And then notice this repetition as well. Has kept faith with me, kept faith with me. So the world did what I expected. Upon the whole, you have proved to be much as you said you were. So the things that you promised me, world, or that you said were going to happen, is more or less exactly as you said. Since as a child I used to lie upon the leaze and watch the sky, never, I own, expected I that life would be fair. Okay, so when I was a child I used to lie upon the leaze in a field or in a meadow and watch the sky and look up at the sky. So, lie, sky, I. Yeah? Since as a child I used to lie upon the leaze and watch the sky, never I own expected I. So notice here, I own, I admit, yeah? It's like to own up, but I own. I admit that I never expected that life would be fair. So I think he's remembering here back when he's a child, looking up at the sky and thinking, and he never expected that life would be fair. And I think this is one of the things that the world promised him. Life's not going to be fair. So expect it. 'Twas then you said, and since have said, times since have said, in that mysterious voice you shed from clouds and hills around. So, it was at that moment that you said to me, and you've said to me again, yeah, various times over the years, in the mysterious voice that the world has to shed, to give off, from clouds and hills around. So it's saying that the world talks to him through the clouds and the hills, through communing with nature and looking at the clouds and the hills. And what did the world say? It said, many have loved me desperately, many with smooth serenity, while some have shown contempt of me, till they dropped underground. So in the world there are people that love the world. There are many that are very calm about the world. There are others that hate the world, but they all have one thing in common. They all die. So here this is saying death is inevitable. Death comes to all of us. Yeah, and this is one of the things the world promised, that death is something that happens to everybody. It can't be avoided. Death is an eternal truth. I do not promise overmuch, child, overmuch. So I can't promise you a great deal, child. So this is the world speaking back to him. Yeah, I can't promise you great things. I can't promise you fantastic things. Just neutral-tinted haps and such. So neutral-tinted haps. Haps is happenings. So neutral tint. Well, the tint is the colour. So moments that they're not very happy, they're not very sad. Just many times where things are just normal. You're not burstingly happy or terribly depressed. Yeah. So the Earth is promising that much of life will be very mundane. You said to minds like mine. Okay, so this is something that you told people, or people who thought like me. Wise warning for your credit's sake. So it's very kind of you, world, to give me this intelligent warning that things are very mundane and ordinary. Yeah, and that's to your credit. That's says something good about this world. Okay, and then he's now talking about this wise warning, which I for one failed not to take. So I took this warning, all of these warnings above, that things were going to be ordinary and mundane, that death was inevitable, and that the world wasn't fair. And hence could stem such strain and ache as each year might assign. So having taken the advice of the world about these things, the result is I could stem the flow of blood to stop or reduce the strain and ache, the stress and problems, as each year might assign. So he's saying that having taken the advice of the world and understanding how the world is, that it's unfair, that death is inevitable, and that there are much of life is very ordinary and boring. It made me thinking about and understanding these things, understanding these warnings, was something that made it easier to bear the problems and difficulties of each year. So there you go. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. He Never Expected Much by Thomas Hardy.